I said the idea of surrender in my mind, but it seemed to have evolved specifically because of Goddess Iemanjá consistently showing up in my life, like surrender and flow coinciding or coexisting. And yeah, so it wasn't exactly the way that I sort of expected it to play out. Hi, I'm Robin.
And I'm Rhea. Robin and I have been spending a whole year calling in the goddess. We've been inviting qualities of the feminine every month that we wish to expand in ourselves.
We'd love for you to join us on this journey and enjoy the magic with us.
It's so nice to be here with you. And also, as you pointed out, we have very similar background, although we did not plan this. Plant, mirror, and these sort of wooden tones, right?
Yeah. Very much so similar. It's
similar.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
I actually even went and got this plant just a minute before we started.
Really?
Yes, I thought I need some green here. Yeah, so obviously I was being guided by the goddess.
100%. 100%. I spent most of Sunday looking after my plants because I haven't seen them for about 2 months that I've been traveling. And so they have to obviously feature in this as well because they are my little plant babies and they are my way of expressing nurturing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to say I don't take care of plants. Other people take care of them. But I enjoy the effect of them. Um, and also I think I'm feeling especially connected because just before our call outside, it's finally warm enough today. And I went out and I lay down. I was doing actually a very appropriate practice for expression. I chose to join a call. I was reminded of it. I completely forgot that I'd even registered for this. Um, and it's all about sexual energy, actually.
Mhm.
And it's meant to be a 21-day challenge of 1 hour a day, 20 minutes of movement, 20 minutes of like kundalini connection, and then 20 minutes of grounding. And I did it for the first time today because I completely forgot about it. And then I got an email and it started 10 days ago. And actually, in the message that they sent just before the session, they said, you're not allowed to be on the call unless you're in full view on video, full body, or we'll kick you off. And and I looked at that, and definitely previous me before the month of expression would have gone, no, that's too much. I can't do that. And just ignored it and not done it. And I thought, because I had in mind it's the last day of expression, I'm going to do this. And so, and I'm going to do it outside. And I took my phone and I set it up so that you could see all of me
Yeah.
dancing like a mad woman. Yes. Yes. In front of whoever else was on the call. And it's being recorded and it's led by a Russian woman. So I figure it's compromising material that's literally just for blackmail purposes. They're like, you must be seen on the call, you know. And anyway, but for the grounding piece, I just lay down on the earth,
Mm.
on the grass, and I felt so perfectly held between Mother Earth and the sun was shining on me and on my whole body.
Yeah.
Um, and
Amazing.
it was so wonderful. It was really wonderful. And I thought a lovely way to also prepare for this. Um, just to make that connection with energy and being held and surrendering, just breathing out. Um, Yeah, but then because I'd been outside, then I thought, "Oh, I don't wanna leave the plant just yet."
So
The
you'll bring it and make it part of this with
Yes.
us.
Mm. So that was a
Oh.
very long preamble.
No, there's no such thing. Time is just an illusion, really. I had this moment last night where I was sitting and I just was like, "What? Time is completely irrelevant." Like
Ooh.
it's a complete construct that we have because of our fear of death. It literally felt like this massive light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Why do I care about rushing to things, being productive, and constantly just chasing, 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 and looking at the clock and not having enough time to do this and appointments and XYZ. And I was like, where am I rushing to? The only place I'm going is to die. So
Oh, by the way, I take exception to that. I'm not planning on that, and I hope you aren't either, because I want to be doing this in
you
500
for
years time.
sure. I agree. 100%. That's not my plan, but also I've been relinquishing control and realizing planning is sometimes irrelevant. But I think this concept of I caught myself being, oh, I wasn't very productive on Sunday because I spent the whole day nurturing my plants. And constantly this entire week I've been getting tested around, like, am I using my time productively? Should I be doing X, Y, Z, or should I just be like right now, I've actually been grounding back into London. I've been traveling for the last 2 months, and I need to give myself time to just kind of ease back into the routine of everything, to feel like I have my 2 feet on the ground again. And rushing it, what's the point? What difference is it going to make if it takes me 3 days versus 2 weeks?
Yeah,
In the grand scheme of things, it really, really won't. But that's when I had this realization that time is really this construct that is there that we care about so much because of death. If you remove death, then
yeah,
the way and perception, the way we perceive time becomes so different. Then it's not as powerful. It's not this fear of that it's passing and it's disappearing
right.
if you weren't afraid of dying.
And I love that fear you brought in that word, because as you were talking about it, I was thinking in my mind, well, I was also trying to be present for you and listen to you, but I definitely know in myself this tendency of so many ideas and just running away with it. Time is such a vast topic. We should probably dedicate an entire conversation just to time, and
Yeah.
that's probably not this one, because I have a lot of thoughts about that too. But um, yeah, fear. The conclusion I've come to is that all fear is just the fear of death. Ultimately, like if you trace any fear that we have back to its root, whether that's the fear of abandonment, right, that's also a fear of death indirectly.
100%.
So, yeah, I do believe that a big part of um our mission here is to um see death for what it is, and then to, as much as possible, try to um live without it. And
Well, that's what I found myself
yeah.
thinking. Like, I realized because of a past experience with ayahuasca where I had
Mm,
ego death, I realized I'm very comfortable with the idea of dying. Like, I mean, I'm fearful about how it's going to happen because I don't like pain.
no.
Although, when it happens and that's the end anyways, does it really matter that it wasn't pain? So I realize I'm not really afraid of dying. So, yeah, if every time I get to a point where I'm worried or fearful about something and I sort of hold back and I think I'm going to die, but I'm okay dying, it takes the pressure off completely.
Yeah,
Um, and it's been helping actually, that way of thinking, that eventually, I will die, and am I going to take all of these things with me and all the stresses? No. So why am I holding on to it? And that really shifting that mindset around death for me then just helps me relinquish control about the entire situation, or the stress or the sadness or anything else that's attached to it. It just puts things in perspective.
And yeah, the stakes are just so low suddenly.
Yeah, they are so low. I mean, what's the worst thing? The worst thing that could happen is I'm gonna die and go back home.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
and that was such a happy place. I'll happily go back. But actually the tarot card I pulled this morning was just about embodying the human experience and being here now. So it was a really beautiful way for it to bring me back from my head in the clouds to just be
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
hey Robin, you're in this world right now and living this experience. Like
Yeah.
embrace that and live that for what it is. Don't start like dreaming about like, what would it be like in heaven?
Very good point. Actually, another thing I had a very deep insight about death recently was what a relief it must be to experience death as an eternal being, right? That's
This is
almost
why I'm
that's
excited.
that's almost the point. You can imagine that, let's say eternity, the infinite, whatever, the unnameable, um generated this duality, this material world, in order to have the relief of not existing forever, right? Um, because I was just lying in bed thinking about this. Who else thinks about this? I want to know. And yeah, and it just dawned on me, if I actually contemplated what it would mean to live forever, I would want death rather
Hmm.
than this completely undefined eternity. So so it's almost a privilege. Everything, in fact, everything about our existence is a privilege. I feel it so much, again, more and more powerfully, the gratitude for this body, for being here now, for having this experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, and part of that gratitude is leaning into the freedom that we have to not live in the way that seems prescribed to us, right? Of schedules of Mm,
Yeah, that's been uncovering going into the topic of surrender. I've been having so many realizations about how I've grown up in a certain way and been conditioned to want to follow a certain career and live my life in a certain way. And now that I've been doing everything differently, it feels uncomfortable because it's unconventional, but I'm so much happier. So and way more at peace and more fulfilled. So yeah, it's like it feels contradictory because it's you see what how other people are living their lives and you think that's
mm,
they're happy and that they're content and that's the sort of image you want to work towards and then living it completely differently. I've actually been finding that I'm finding my peace, my happiness, whatever I want to call it, um far more than if I don't know, I guess I was living that reality. Like it's not for me. And I guess it depends on the individual.
mm,
I think that it's not for everyone, full stop. I think
mm.
humans are supposed to be creative and free and expressive. And this whole, like,
Ooh,
I don't know, strict 9 to 5 and keeping up with the Joneses situation is just not what makes anyone happy.
yeah. Yes, and then that you mentioned expressive, which is beautifully beautifully aligned. And I was thinking as you were speaking about one of the aspects of expression, because when I first chose expression, I thought it was mainly about emotion and just whatever's arising to fully express it and not censor it. And again, in
Yeah.
relation to those same social standards that we're talking about, um, and the ways that we perform. I think performing is such an interesting word too, around work. M- You know, it's so ingrained in how, in the masculine paradigm, we're meant to show up, and be on point the whole time. Um, but performance is also a mask, right? It's from the theater. Um, and there's an interesting relationship between expression and performance. Um, but expression is the authentic version. Performance is the
Mhm.
masked version. And um and so yes, when I thought of expression as just being about like giving whatever is arising in me the opportunity to fully be expressed, um that's not actually
Yeah,
really
how
what
did it actually come to
well
fruition
it
for you
didn't,
over the
yeah, like
last
that.
moon cycle?
Yeah, yes, there was some of that. Um More so in terms of needs than in terms of emotions, actually. So I kind of reached breaking point in a certain aspect of my relationship where I just was not willing to engage in a specific dynamic anymore. And without the commitment to expression, I might have just continued coasting in that. But um with that in mind, I thought, no, I'm gonna be true to myself. And
What did you do? Oh
oh
my
my
word, tell me
goodness.
more.
Oh, I blew things up very dramatically. Yes,
Yikes.
yes. Um, and then I continued to stand behind that. Also, instead of rolling back and apologizing, which I
Hell yes.
deeply wanted to do, I dug myself in further and I literally said, if I made that decision, it means it was the right decision, and I back myself.
Beautiful.
Yes, and even though it took a month for that whole thing to unravel, in the end, it was very yeah, it was very positive. But that was also not what I was going to say about expression, which was, going back to that idea of authenticity, um well, no, it is connected actually, because that was authentic. Um, but yes, as opposed to expression just being a license to be volatile and to just, like, act, uh, purely from, how I'm feeling, it it turned out to be more around authenticity, um, and what that means. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like I had a similar experience. I sort of had the idea of surrender in my mind. It seemed to have evolved and made, and even I guess specifically because of like the goddess Yemanja just consistently showing up in my life, like
Mm.
it
Yeah.
being sort of surrender and flow,
Yeah.
sort of coinciding or coexisting. Yeah, so that and yeah, so it wasn't exactly the way that I sort of expected it to play out. It brought it because of being on the shared journey, elements of like expression, but my way of expressing myself creatively is primarily as a dancer,
Mm.
with my body and in
Yeah.
movement, and it's something that I kind of keep it to myself, even though I know I'm an amazing performer. If like I'm on stage or I'm dancing in a salsa club or whatever, like people always like, whoa, you know,
Ooh,
and I'm like,
I
why
need to
do I
see
not?
this, by the way. I haven't seen this.
No,
I
you
wanna feel the
haven't. Not yet,
whoa.
but you will because I realize it's a natural talent of
Yeah.
mine that I am like suppressing because I decided when I was 18 years old, I was going to become an accountant instead of a ballerina. And
Uh, no comment. That just went wildly in the opposite direction.
right? Completely two different directions. But it was because of fear that I made that decision. There's no financial stability in it. I can't keep dancing when you're 30, you're going to be so old and not able to perform on
Isn't it
stage.
crazy the ways the mind argues with us, you know? It's terrible actually. I mean, if there's one thing that would be nice to kind of give people is, yeah, that sense of, hold on, it doesn't have to be this way, right? And this is the theme throughout our conversation today is of um the conventional path. and how it actually does some sort of violence to our true nature, and causes this inner dialogue. I mean, I really resonate with what you're saying. I just went from high school to university and that and work, and it just seemed like the thing to do. Um, and God forbid that, I should be a writer or right. It yeah, and I always really admired people who had the courage
Yeah.
to do that. Um, but coming from an incredibly risk averse family context also,
Same,
um,
same.
yes, I mean, there are many parallels between us. Um, so we're kind of healing that together as well, I think. Mm, yeah, but you were
Yeah.
saying
Yeah, so, where was I with the surrender thing? So,
ballet,
yeah.
accounting.
Oh, about becoming a chartered accountant. But yeah, a lot of I've had like this month for me, like the reason why I was surrender was the one that I chose in particular was because so much of my life has been about leaning into like the masculine energies of control, competitiveness, of assertiveness, of yeah, control being one of the biggest ones to be honest.
Yeah,
And and yeah, this sort of ambition that's all about like pushing and forcing consistently and I wanted to really and that's gotten me really far in life. Like, I'm super appreciative of like what I've been able to achieve in my career and life and all the rest of it as a result of it. All these great material things that I've been able to accumulate off the back of it. But I find myself still not fulfilled in what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And I got to the start of this year and I was just like, what I've been doing is not what I'm supposed to keep doing. Really? Again? Because I have been career pivoting left, right, and center over the last 6 years. And so surrender was something I was like, you know what? I want to just trust. I
yeah,
want to allow the universe to show me which way I'm supposed to go. And this week has been really hard because it's pointing me in a direction that is purely creative industry. Woo! And I'm just like, oh bother.
oh, I love hearing that though. It's so exciting. Can you tell me in what way it's pointing you? How is this coming through?
Yeah. So, there's, I think the biggest one is that I've been interested in like transpersonal psychology for a very long time. Like as soon as I found out what it was and that it was a lot more than just like talk therapy and it was looking into helping people integrate in a much more holistic approach. I've been thinking of, do I study further? And if I study further, am I doing it for myself or am I doing it so I can coach other people? And I think that was the big question. I signed up for this course for this year that I've already started, which I'm super excited about, an amazing community. But at the start, I was doing this just out of intellectual curiosity because I'm a seeker of knowledge. I love learning. It makes me so excited. My brain just lights up. The neural pathways are like,
I
oh,
know, me
yay, new ways
too.
to go.
Oh, I was telling somebody today, I was because and he's trying to rope me into some new project. And I was saying to him, I'm really just trying to just make enough money so I can read and write. That's all I want to do. I just want to keep stuffing my brain with
Yeah,
learning.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yes.
So and that's sort of where I've landed as well. I really don't need to make shitloads of money. I really just need to make enough to allow me the space and
Yeah.
time to lean into my creativity and creative exploits or interests. And what I realized around and the surrendering over this month of I signed up to this course and I started it. That was the first thing. And I initially was like, I'm doing it just for myself. I'm not going to coach anyone. And then within 2 days, a friend of mine messaged me, you know what? I really enjoyed the conversation we had, and it's really made a difference. The advice you gave me to my marriage and relationship with my husband. And this was just in a friend's context,
That was so quick.
very quick. I immediately like imposter syndrome, freaking out. I don't really know what I'm doing. Don't even have my certification. And I'm like, No, I have life experience, and
Yeah, yeah.
that is my certification. I can I
Yeah,
can I can, like, intuitively, and I can feel when I'm, like, talking to someone and I know
right.
that
And
this is the message I was meant to share with them.
hmm,
So there's no reason why I can't do it.
and you can it's also like mentoring. I mean, we don't have to use these words. If anything, I had exactly the same feeling. I knew that the more that I kind of practiced and learned and did the inner work, that it was just intuitively obvious that I would be called to support other people in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, if I could make money that way, great. But either way, I knew it was going to happen. And indeed, it has, it has unfolded in that way. Um, but I don't subscribe to any terminology around it. I would much rather there wasn't any. The closest I can get is this concept of anamkara in Celtic tradition, which just means a soul friend.
Okay.
And it's someone who accompanies you, right?
Yeah, like a
And
guide or something.
yeah, I like guide.
Yeah.
Um, but it because so much really it happens in the other person. We can't ever directly help someone, but we can be a wise presence for them. And I think especially as women also we thirst for that. For we don't have necessarily the same kind of intergenerational mentoring or um even like connections among women in that way where we just share wisdom. It that's not um again, speaking of kind of social frameworks, we don't really have a framework for that. Um And so I think it's really nice that your friend actually asked you, even though I imagine it can feel also uncomfortable because it's a friend and not somebody you don't know.
I feel way
Um,
more comfortable with it,
okay.
actually, weirdly. Because I already I know her so well, and I've
Yeah.
already identified so many areas immediately because of the history. I think that what's feeling right now for me is like overwhelming is that I do know so much and so much I can help her, and it's like about myself holding back and
Yeah.
being like
Yeah.
it's her journey
Yes.
and it needs to be yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
it's
gonna
also that
about
it's a
slowing down.
lovely symbol that we have the mirrors behind us because I think with what you're describing, the way that I think of it in terms of projection is that actually my work is to become a clear mirror. We're all reflecting each other. But most of the time, unless we're aware of how it functions and what kind of unconscious influences there are on us, we're always projecting. And judgment is like a key signal that we're doing that. And it's really, yeah, it takes effort to emerge from that, um, and really just become a space where people discover themselves. Um, and so I think you're absolutely right that to be aware of that and to not project and not compare your journey with hers and just let her, but you'll find this in, I think, when you work with her, is that she will she will just naturally tell you. Even her higher self will come through and express where she wants to be and what she needs to look at. And it's so beautiful how that happens.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, surrendering this month has resulted in me well, also so the coaching path, that is clearly one that I should be pursuing. Outside of her having messaged me, I was on a call with a business associate, and within 2 minutes, I had only had about 3 calls with him before this. He was telling me about the breakdown in his relationship and marriage, and I've been way like, there's been a job offer as well, that I've been waiting on. I keep feeling weird. I feel weird even talking about it in this call because I just like, I haven't gotten any piece of paper yet, but it's pretty much as good as done. And it's like a 3-day working week, which is just allows me the space to still continue working on like my creative projects and still having that sort of like financial stability. But even beyond that, it's in the like property space, which we've spoken about. Like I
Ugh,
absolutely
perfect. Yes.
love that.
Yes.
So it's just this month has been, it was so uncertain around where I'm going to land and also even where I'm going to land from a career perspective,
Yep.
but also geographically. Um, now the decision's been made for me. I've got a job in London. I am going to be in London.
Which means we're going to be doing this together, maybe in the actual same physical space.
Totally. Yes, we're totally going to do this in a studio next
Yes,
time or one of the
exactly.
next few times. Yeah, in person, which will be amazing.
Brilliant. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And isn't that I'm just celebrating this for you. The fact that the surrender month just brought you everything on a plate.
I know I'm still like, I get goosebumps thinking about it. And I'm still like, a part of me is still like, wants to like pinch myself awake because I'm just like, I'm not really, is this really happening? Is it,
Oh, it's happening. The magic is real.
the magic
The
is
magic is real.
definitely, it's definitely real. But it hasn't been easy though. That's the one thing I also did want to like make a point of like bringing that up because I've had to like surrender in theory sounds great, but in
Mhm.
reality is fucking hard. Don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Because like, how do you just when you're this is the analogy that I was thinking of, like you're literally in fight or flight mode, you're running away from a lion that's chasing you, and then you're like, oh no, I must just relax and chill and just let the universe flow and it all will
Yeah.
just work out.
This yeah, like an anaconda will magically catch the lion in mid-flight.
Exactly,
Um,
something will come and intervene and it
yes,
will
yes.
just
Divine intervention will save you.
yes.
Well, playing dead could work.
Okay,
Just,
I am
um,
from South Africa. I am familiar about of lions and
okay.
how they act. I promise you, they will still eat you.
I got it. I've been told, but that's also a really good example. I think it's worth just considering, what does surrender look like in that scenario? Because I do find that like it's all very well to talk about surrender theoretically. Um, but for me, the meaning of it is so much around acceptance, non-resistance, right, to what's happening right now. And it doesn't mean that you're like, "Oh yes, lion, take me. I am yours. This is the way of nature. I'm happy to be consumed." I think um it's just like not resisting the fact that the lion is there. Like cuz that's not going to help you save yourself, right? If you're busy going like, "Oh, I wish this wasn't happening. Oh, this is so awful." You know, like any negative circumstance that people experience, you can have one of several reactions to it, right? You can um feel like, why is this happening to me? Woe is me, victim kind of mindset. Or
Yeah.
you can be like, I am the hero. I will persevere no matter what to look at me run fast from this lion. Right? What a great opportunity to get some exercise. I love this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think exactly, I think on the where I landed with that is that, when I'm in that moment of heightened fight or flight um state, and this was consistent throughout the last month, I would immediately be aware of it. Being chased by a lion, heart
Right.
palpitations, dum
Right.
dum 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 dum. My brain is becoming mush because that's what happens. I can't think clearly, and then it's just like trying or there's too much in my mind and it's just like this solution, that solution, da, 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 da. And my mind has this beautiful way of just creating multiple different ways out of this situation that I might be in. Um, And so what I've realized is super important for me in those moments of being triggered essentially in some way, lion chasing me, is actually just stopping and
Mhm.
like being
Mhm.
still. And I actually actioned that when that I was on a phone call with a guy and he told me about his relationship. I immediately like had all these reactions and feelings. This isn't what I want. This isn't the point of the call. Why are you telling me this? Da, 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 da. Mind going crazy. And then I was like, whoa, like stop. And I literally stopped in my tracks and I sat down. I was in the middle of Cape Town somewhere in a forest. And I was like, I'm gonna slow down my heart rate. I'm gonna breathe, like breathe in, breathe out, be completely just like drop, like calm down my nervous system, and like be present. And like and using that has helped me really trust, lean into my intuition. And I think it's so important. I think what I've realized, my huge lesson this whole month of like, surrendering, is that I can't do it when I'm like in a stress state, and I need to just take the time to completely stop. And this is where the time concept came in as well. I'd be rushing to get somewhere and I was like, what difference does it make if I'm 15 minutes late? It's not going to be the end of the world. Let me give myself the time and space to actually calm down, feel into what my intuition, what my body is telling me. Because your body's got it tells you so much if you would just quieten yourself down and calm your body so that you can actually hear it. Um, so that, yeah, I think that has been really the big lesson that I've had this month. Theoretically, it seemed all great, but I constantly was finding myself in these trigger moments and just pausing in those moments and just giving myself a time, whether it was like 5 minutes, whether it was half an hour, whether it was an hour, just being switch everything else off and just take care of numero uno and be in the moment. And that helped. That really has helped me sort of trusting more, because then I feel more grounded. I can hear what my gut is telling me. I can feel what feels right, what feels wrong, without me being in this heightened nervous system frequency. Yeah. Anyways, I'll stop my monologue now.
Enjoying it. I've checked out now, so I don't know what to say. I'm just coasting along on your beautiful words, and
Ah, journey
oh,
of,
I'm so
yeah,
so
of
relaxed.
surrender
Just
realizations.
just practicing as you were saying, oh, settling into the body, like, mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, yeah,
Yeah, I guess I think specifically why I wanted to share that is to think like also being practical. I think it's important for me to try and be realistic and practical about how we can actually embody these different qualities. And that also there's different states of minds where it's not going to be possible. I don't know. I think I'm still getting my head around that, because I think I come across a few friends that are in stressful situations and they're like, oh,
yeah.
this sounds so great, like to lean into all these amazing positive qualities, but I'm just trying to survive over here.
Well, and that's where actually a little bit of the frustration of what you were saying earlier with, you're 6 years ahead of her in the journey, or, I felt that today as well. Talking to a friend who's going through a really, abruptly, just the shock of something quote unquote bad happening, um, losing some money. And to me, where I'm at with things, I actually know that it wouldn't bother me. I just wouldn't have that reaction of, and he's like, it's just sent him into this spiral of, I'm the worst person, I make terrible mistakes, all of that negative self-talk. And it's actually not even about the money. It's about the things in him that are being triggered. Um, and at the same time, it's almost impossible for him to see it that way. He just really, you know, feels strongly that this was a terrible thing that happened, and there's no other way of looking at it. Whereas I'm kind of, gently trying to introduce the possibility that this is an invitation like everything is, because he also says, "Oh, it makes me lose faith that the universe is real and that magic is real." And no, the magic is stronger than ever whenever you're in this mode. This is
Mhm.
the again, like this idea of the shadow self. Um, we're always being invited to grow and observe and love aspects of ourselves. And so I actually do think it's possible for anyone in a stressful situation to practice what you're describing. But from a conventional point of view, it does seem like a lot to ask. And people might not receive that very well if they're told, right, you could just relax. Everything's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, don't
Right.
tell someone they're as relaxing, they're in the middle of a panic attack. No, for sure,
Right.
I mean, I think for me, the key in this is it comes to down to self-awareness. Um, and and I think, actually something really interesting I read, or I can't even remember where it came from, but, just over a week ago, was because I was getting a bit frustrated about, like, being so self-aware. Great. So what do I do with all this great self-awareness? Like, how do I actually change things?
Yeah.
I know I have a problem. Thank you. And next, what do I do with my problem? Tell me how to fix it. But that's the way I've been brought up, right? Like, something's broken, fix it. Like, although it's different when it comes to your subconscious.
Yes.
And I really like the way it was explained in that when something is in your subconscious, it has a lot more power over you. And when you become aware of it, it diminishes the power of it, which means that
Yeah.
you see it and now you're not going to be acting from this very triggered place. You're able to diminish it. It's a lot more powerful if you don't know that it's there. And it gave me agency of, actually, by being aware, I've got more power. I have more control. I know. No, it wasn't about control. It was more like that is the healing. Like the awareness of what is going on in my subconscious is already
Yes.
is the healing that is required to actually make that less of something that I act on. And obviously it takes time for it to diminish in strength, but at least I know that by being aware of it, I'm already healing it, rather
Yeah.
than like now I still have to do something else to fix this broken part. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, the fixing is definitely, um, not the answer. Just, uh, the whole kind of problem solution paradigm, I don't really subscribe to. I mean, there's very of course, there's very practical circumstances where, uh, you need to find a specific kind of screw to fix something or right? That's fixing at some level. Um But even in science, and I was trying to draw this parallel between science and kind of the inner work in terms of usefulness, right? So we can and truth. I'm trying to tie these things together, but um all of our beliefs, all the beliefs we hold ultimately are n- untrue in some to some extent. They're all made up to some degree. They're all subjective to our experience and our senses and our history. And the best that we can say about a belief is that it's useful. I don't think you can ever really say that it's fully true in the sense of like the ultimate truth. Um, and we can become aware of beliefs we hold in the subconscious that are not useful to us, that maybe were at some point in time, and that we maintain for that reason, but that now they just are not. And if we're aware of them, then we can kind of reprogram them. Um and yeah, and kind of scientifically it's also about usefulness. Has this hypothesis been proven over and over again? Great, then that's a useful fact that we should keep. But at some point it might be disproven and then it's not useful anymore. um yeah.
So are there any other ways that expression has played out for you or shaped your journey over the last month? How do you feel that it's shifted the way you're feeling like you're showing up into the world going forward?
Yeah, I've also been pondering that, and it's, uh, you know, the thing that instinctively comes up when you ask me that question is also about appearance, which is not something that I associated at all this month with expression, but it did come up in our like brief video exchange, right? And suddenly, when you asked me that, I connected these things. And of course, part of expression is literally how do we appear in the world? We can't express without the body. um, and I just, yeah, I'm really loving that association and just feeling how powerful that is. That mm, my body is not only sustaining me physically, but it's literally the instrument of my being of in connection with others, um and having had so much shame, loathing, I don't know, you name it, Nick. Sadly,
Low self-worth,
like,
all the things
yeah,
that
yeah,
we seem to
and
have
all
built
those
up.
lovely, lovely things that women are bequeathed from hundreds of years of um internalized judgment. It takes so much unraveling. I don't think any of us can just kind of snap our fingers and become fully self-loving beings. But I definitely was on a journey this month to have more self-acceptance. Um and because I also know I can't step into that best version of me without just radiating with how much I love being myself. What how what does that even mean if I'm not loving who I am? And uh and so it was such a pivotal moment to have that also conversation with you, and I wanted to express that and just say, yeah, it meant so much to me. The external validation will never fix anything. Um So it also I'm not gonna say that's the cure, but it's also just again this theme of reflection, just even being witnessed with love and knowing that it's safe to express. Another really key thing because I don't think it felt that way for most of my life for various reasons, and I didn't necessarily feel accepted or well, I'm sure my parents actually did and do accept me in all my weirdness, but, because I felt so, so very different from them or anyone really, and I know that's something you have also felt your whole life.
I'm getting actually quite emotional right now listening to this because, oh my word, this is like literally hitting home. It's so hard.
It is hard because of that feeling of difference and feeling of the danger of expressing genuinely. Even the act of doing this with you is such a beautiful release. Like, mm, mm,
Agree.
and
Oh,
yeah, and I think and the fact that it's within a loving response, that was what mattered to me the most, was not what you said. You could have also said, to be honest, yeah, you're not all that, but like that's it. Like that it genuinely wouldn't have valued the honesty more and the opportunity to integrate. I'm not perfect and that's okay. It's also I shouldn't hold myself to that. Um no, it was just the amount of love that I felt genuinely from you meant everything and that's also the world that I want to live in.
I've been thinking a lot about purpose actually, and why I'm here, what it is that, you know, why am I doing the job that I'm doing? Why do I gravitate to certain projects or not? Or, you kind of need to have your North Star in order to, it will make it a lot easier for you to make decisions, especially very quick decisions, because I often find myself in situations where I have to make a decision very quickly. That purpose thing has been something I've been thinking about a lot. And I actually spent last night, I don't know, it was probably 3 hours worth of just like journaling, but like sitting and meditating or just talking to myself. I have no idea. I'm also, I'm a weird kid. Definitely another fellow weird kid over here.
Celebrating the weird kid. Yes.
I think at some point I was lying on my couch and I was staring at the ceiling and I was just looking at the light bulbs. But I was having the best time of my life because I was just like having in these moments of silence, all of these like realizations. I don't even know where I was going with this. Oh, purpose. Right. That's where I was going with that. But I realized like all I really care about is helping ignite and create a world that is loving, that is just like people show up and people are focused on loving themselves, on like loving and connecting with others, and also just being one with nature. Like I think those are 3 elements that I kind of boiled it down to, like, helping people connect and love themselves, community, and nature. um if I can help create a world where I think like that would just mean all the wars and the hatred and everything that's going on. I'm here to help ignite a world that leads with love. I resonate so much with that like concept of just like, yeah, showing up with love.
Mm.
Um,
Yes. Yes. And I'm so inspired and delighted to hear you say that because that's my whole purpose too. And
I was starting to envision a world. I am going to help create heaven on earth. What
yes,
everybody dreams is what heaven is, this Nevada. So a lot of this path and a lot of the experience of us actually calling in these different feminine qualities is just me having like starting to lean into my authenticity so that I
yeah.
can I think what I'm more afraid of is just being myself than anything else, because I actually know the power that lies within that. But I'm ready for that to be fully unleashed.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Robin. Mm, mm,
And
thank
I'm
you.
so excited. We're going to
I,
create a new world, a
we,
new,
we,
very
we,
awesome world.
absolutely. It's
I
happening.
also feel like I'm like, who's that? Who's the little evil guy? It was like, what are we going to do tonight, Pinky? What we do every night. Try to take over the world. No, not in that.
So,
And not
so
in.
who's Pinky and who's the brain here? No comment. Uh, so
We're both of those things, obviously,
exactly, and all of them, and more.
and more.
Well, that's such a it's incredible how always in the last moments of the conversation, something absolutely massive happens. I just cannot tell you that that is genuinely the insight that I had in the last 3 years. And another time, maybe we'll talk about how that came about. But I just understood my purpose is love. That's it. It is just a more loving world. And it is entirely possible. There is no reason why it's not possible. And the number one thing that I'm doing is proving that just through my own self, because I can't expect someone else to be like that if you're not able to be that way. I mean, if there's just something fundamental about humanity that means that we cannot be 100% loving, I'm ready to find out, but I think we can. And I think, like you say, we're meant to have heaven on earth here.
Yeah. Yeah. I really believe that is possible. That's where that's why we're here. And that's why I keep meeting them like you and many others, because we're all here to help sort of, yeah, lead the lights to more people and help people see that within themselves. But for me, it's also about my own. It's through your own journey. You need to figure it out for yourself. I mean, I don't go to coaches unless I know that they've had their own journey as well, because I
Yeah.
know they've experienced and lived it themselves. I'm excited where that's going to lead. I think there's going to be a lot of letting go and shedding. And, that's probably, yeah, well, actually, it's not letting go season. It's really manifesting today because it's the new moon. But yeah, that has been, I think there's going to be some shedding that at some point is going to happen of like what my expectations of my career looks like, how my life is shaped. But it's fine. I'm excited for it. Excited and scared at the same time. I won't lie.